Now we have this squad over here. More than likely, the distance between the bolt guns and any of the Necron warriors might not hit, but I want to take advantage of as much as I possibly can. So I'm going to fire this squad right here against his Necron destroyers. Let's do a measurement.
So are you recommending that you always declare a shoot so that you can get a gauge of measurement?
Yes. Even if you don't think that you're going to be able to hit, you should always declare a shot from one unit to the next so you can know how far away they are and potentially help you with your movement and your next phase. So at 24 inches, hey, look at that. This guy can fire. This guy can fire. It's all within 24 inches. Now, the rocket launcher, again, or the missile launcher, again, because he did not move, he's a heavy one weapon, but he can fire. The rocket launcher can have a 48-inch range. Now, we didn't roll this early on for their firing, but again, we're playing Dawn of War. In Dawn of War, we have to determine how far we can fire. To determine that, you take 2d6 and you multiply it by 3. That's the farthest this unit can fire. So they're within 24 inches, and I should be able to fire at them, but if I roll really bad on my night vision, I might not be able to actually see them because dawn's just breaking. And I roll a 6, so that means the farthest I can fire is 18 inches. They're at about 23 inches, so I can't fire with this squad during this Dawn of War mission.
Do you always have to roll 2 die and multiply by 3 when you're doing Dawn of War for every round?
Only the first round counts for that special nighttime rule. Because I've declared firing, I can't go, oh, I missed there, let me go try to fire over there. The Space Marines, for their first turn, have been complete now. So I can't, these guys ran, can't do anything with them. These guys fired, and I fired a heavy weapon, which means I can't assault afterwards. These guys fired rapid fire weapon. When you fire rapid fire, you can't assault after that as well. The only weapons that you can fire and still assault would be a pistol or an assault weapon. Everything else does not allow you to assault after you fire. So now we're starting the beginning of turn 2. The Necron player is going to get to go again. So now we're going to allow the Necron player to move all his guys, and we'll kind of do an overview as he's doing that. You might be asking yourself exactly why the Necron player is actually moving to move his guys back. The reality is that his weapons have a much larger range than my Space Marines, so by moving them back, he then doesn't have to worry about being fired upon while still having range to fire on my guys. Since he's now moving 12 inches instead of 24, at the conclusion of his movement phase, and when he's going into his firing phase, he'll be able to fire all his fast attack weapons. Well, per fast attack vehicle, he'll be able to fire one weapon. Again, he's maintaining his same unit configuration, so that by doing so, he only needs to measure out his front 2 guys and then move all the rest of his guys up to match. The Necron player has moved, so since he has rapid fire weapons, he cannot fire beyond 12-inch range. In a rapid fire weapon, you can fire one at your longest distance, or you can fire twice at 12 inches. Okay. So he moved his Necron Lord up, not onto the terrain, but directly behind his unit, and decided to attach. As an independent character, you can attach, again, to any unit so long as you have the same type of armor. Like, for instance, a non-Terminator Space Marine captain could not attach himself to a Terminator squad. So the Necron warriors have now moved up, and they're now completing their movement phase, are now moving into their firing phase. The Necron warriors wish to fire upon the Space Marine chapter that's in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Since he moved, he can only fire at half his distance, so he clearly does not make the distance to that Space Marine chapter. But I'm not banking on the Space Marines living, because his destroyer squad has a 36-inch range, and I have a feeling that the Space Marines are going to be eating some lead. The Space Marines, even for the back guy, are at about 25 inches, which means that all 5 of his destroyers are going to be able to fire. Now, tell us about what kind of weapon that you're firing.
Okay.
It's a what now?
It is the Gauss cannon,
Okay.
36-inch range, strength 6, AP 4, heavy 3. So each one of those destroyers will get to fire 3 shots. So that will be a total of 15 shots aimed at the Space Marines.
Okay. Now, remember what I said about heavy weaponry? It does not apply to vehicles. So since the Necron destroyers are effectively jet bikes, they can fire one non-defensive weapon after moving 12 inches. What is a defensive weapon? There's a lot of dialogue here. Defensive weaponry in 5th edition is anything with a strength 4 or less. The destroyers only have one weapon, if I'm correct, right?
That's correct.
So after they move 12 inches, they can still fire that one weapon.
So they have a ballistic skill of 4.
So again, remembering our ballistic skill to hit table, you take 7, you subtract 4, and now the Necron destroyers have to get a 3 or better. So you remove all the 1s and 2s, and he ends up with 7 hits. The destroyers have 7 hits against this Space Marine chapter. The way that you now determine whether or not they wound is you take the strength of the weapon. The strength of your heavy destroyer's weapon is?
The cannon is a 6, yes.
Okay, so the Necron destroyer's cannon is a strength 6 weapon. You compare it to the toughness of the Space Marine chapter, which is a 4. And again, using that table, which I believe is on page 110, you'll see that he only needs 2s or better in order to cause a wound. So taking his 7 dice that he rolled, you only remove the 1s, which you happen to roll 2 of them. Oh, 3 of them. So he has 4 wounds now against the Space Marine chapter. What is the AP value of that particular weapon?
4.
It's a 4. The Space Marine's power armor is a 3+ armor save, which means that he doesn't penetrate, or I still get my armor saves after I've been wounded. So I'll take these 4 dice, which were wounding hits, and all I need to roll is 3s or higher, and whatever I roll as 3 or higher, I can then not take that as a casualty. In 5th edition, you can assign a wound when you have special characters. Because I think, actually I'm going to go ahead and assign all 4 wounds to my regular bolt gun Space Marines. Okay, I've rolled 3 2s and a 6. What that means is I take 3 casualties. And since I went ahead and assigned it to the bolt gunners, I have to remove them from those guys. So now this Space Marine squad just went from 5 down to 2, and I'm going to have to take a leadership test at the conclusion of the Necron firing, which I believe is now.